Awesome.
We are
Well,
here.
what's going on, guys? Welcome to this episode of the Weekly Pool. Of course, Benny's not here. He's currently working on projects right now. He's recording some audio, so on and so forth. And Joel had a 15-hour bus ride home from the convention, which is insane.
Yes, it is.
So myself and Faust and Sal and Tiffany will be your hosts for today. And we're covering a lot of New York Comic-Con stuff, info that drops, so like Punisher casting, so on and so forth. But I just want to throw this out there before... Ooh, we got a sploosh. We got a subscriber. The man, the myth, the legend just subscribed. But I just want to say this. So I'm doing I'm covering Spider-Man Dead No More tomorrow.
Oh, great.
And I wanted to throw this out, or not tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. I just wanted to throw this out there because I happen to be thinking about this. So it felt like up to this point, like Dan Slott's entire run is like just a giant lead up.
Yeah,
and it's like it's not, but I liked Dead No More actually because it's the first time I've read it, and I liked it. I mean, it's cool because he's reaching back to a lot of stuff, and I have what I'm thinking is this is going to lead into a clone conspiracy, yada yada yada. Once a clone conspiracy is done,
yeah.
I think he's going to return things to the status quo before we got another one, sploosh. I think he's going to turn the status quo to before the Mary Jane Watson thing, where he's going to end up with Gwen Stacy. Because Gwen Stacy's just been hanging out with Jackal the entire time. And so I think we're going to get the Gwen Stacy, Peter Parker relationship because he hasn't been paired up with anybody yet.
Yeah.
You know, he's just kind of out there by himself.
He had like kind of like a little bit of relationship with the one of the Asian correspondents for Parker Industries, but like she was also a traitor in the industry, and then he forgave her, but I guess the relationship's over because we haven't seen her literally again since that story.
Yeah, like Sajani or whatever her name is.
No. Sajani was fired. I think the Jackal manipulated events so that she could get fired. But she was
Which one was the one that was spying in the first story arc?
That was Sajani. She was a spy, kind of like she was more like she was conspiring behind his back to take over the company.
That's right. Yeah, no, I kind of enjoyed it because like Spider-Man was not the main focus, which I think is a good reprieve because I think when it comes to
you don't want Spider-Man in your Spider-Man books.
Well, no, dude, shut up, man. It's not so much that. As it is it's good to have a break every once in a while where you kind of bolster on what's going on in the background. But also, like I mentioned this in the video, Joel had this awesome idea. So I called Joel earlier and I was like, so what do you think about the current Spider-Man? Because there were a couple things like I didn't realize how Max Dillon lost his powers.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, what do you think about this whole thing? And he was like, okay. He was like, almost everything else is the same in all new, all different Spider-Man. And I was like, yeah, he's like, except for Miles Warren. Like, he's not the way he used to be. And I said, yeah. And he's like, I don't think that's Miles Warren. He's like, I think it's either like Ben Reilly or I think it's Kane. And I was like, dude, that'd actually be awesome to me if it turned out it was one of the clones. Like, I think that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with him though. There's no way it's because there's already a couple of like Miles Warren clones walking around that are helping him with the process. My guess he's also like you can tell he's younger and he's got 5 o'clock shadow, but because it's drawn by Kim and Coley, there's no way to tell whose face it is because his faces are all like weird. But it's definitely not who you think it is. Unless it is.
It better not
because
be.
Sometimes Dan Slott's like, oh, you I bet you wouldn't guess who this is. Is it so and so? Yeah.
But no, I mean, I liked Dead No More. Like, I thought it was pretty fun. I mean, I thought it was a pretty good story. That said, Clone Conspiracy tomorrow, so I guess we'll see how that turns out.
And it's gonna be drawn by Jim Chung, who is awesome.
Yeah,
it's gonna look great.
Oh, I meant to ask you, by the way, did you ever get anything from Frank Cho down in the artist alley?
Did I?
Yeah.
No.
I don't know, who was it? Somebody was asking about that, and I told him Frank Cho was down there.
You told me that Frank Cho was down there. I have a sketch by him, but it's from like 10 years ago.
Oh, okay. I don't know if you were going to run down there and grab something.
No, I've met Frank Cho a couple times.
You know what I'm covering tomorrow that I really want to talk about, but I'm not on Thursday's podcast, so now's my only chance.
What?
The new Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
So good. I'm shook, but it's so good.
It's great. It's literally just a return to Alias. So it's like if you liked Bendis and Gatos' Alias, you're gonna love this book.
I know the art just takes you back to that time period.
Yeah, no doubt.
Which I guess is the point. And then I don't want to give away spoilers because I want people to go and buy it. But it's good. Everyone go read it, and if you don't read it, you're a bad person.
It's true.
Yeah. So do you guys want to jump into the topics?
Yeah.
Wait, before we go,
Yes.
Rob, did you see in the chat?
We got another subscriber.
Oh, a splooge for you. Like your all's assignment in the chat right now is that whenever somebody subscribes, you guys have to type in splooge.
Yeah,
that is your
that
like you guys have to do that.
You don't have to do that.
So the first topic is the Iron Fist trailer, and I'll be a little bit honest. I was kind of hoping they would go for like the comedic aspect of it, like what we're seeing in Power Man and Iron Fist. But I was talking to Benny at New York, and he actually made a really good point. He was like, when it's just Iron Fist, like he's what we're going to see in Netflix. But when it's Power Man and Iron Fist, then that's when we get the comedic stuff.
Yeah.
Because they offset one another. That said, I'm actually pretty hyped. I think it's going to be pretty solid, to be honest. It looks like it's going to be really good.
It looks cool. I've never been excited by the announcement for an Iron Fist trailer, or for an Iron Fist series. You know, they're like, we're going to do Daredevil. Okay, sweet. We're going to do like Luke Cage. Awesome. Jessica Jones. Hell yeah. And Iron Fist. Oh. Like, I'm more excited about like the I'm excited about Iron Fist being on the Defenders. I was always a proponent of the idea of merge your Iron Fist and Luke Cage shows into a Power Man and Iron Fist series. That said, the Luke Cage show was great, and any negatives that I had about it before having finished it are like kind of assuaged. They're gone because like I dug how it wrapped up and everything. But I don't know. I don't care about Danny Rand's struggle. I don't care about Kunlun a lot. So it's kind of like, for me, I'm like, okay, like, all right, it's fine. As long as it's cool, I'll watch it. But like, it doesn't have to do much to impress me. It's just that I'm not a huge Iron Fist fan. So for me, I'm not like on bated breath. Like the trailer showed me nothing for me except the fist, which was cool.
Yeah. Oh, the fist looked amazing.
Yeah.
And I was like,
the
cool.
the glowing Iron Fist.
Yeah. And we were talking about this. We all saw the trailer at New York Comic Con, and we were like, that better not be the last shot of the show.
I would be pissed.
Like, he better be using that fist like within the first couple of episodes.
Oh, I guarantee it's going to be like with Luke Cage, Jessica Jones. Like when Jessica Jones lifted up the car.
Yeah.
You know, when Luke Cage like went through and just started beating the crap out of people, or no, when he walked into the store and that guy punched him and broke his hand. Like there'll be like within the first episode or two like a display of what he's capable of. That said, one of the biggest reasons why I'm so hyped about Iron Fist is because we get some mysticism, and I kind of feel like with the hand coming in Netflix, they need that. Like they need to establish mysticism. Otherwise, it looks like just some crazy people resurrecting folks, and there's no explanation on how it happens.
It's also weird. Like it also further makes season 2 of Daredevil look kind of bizarre. Because Daredevil Season 2 is just all about mystical hand ninjas and, like, resurrection chambers in cellars with blood being drawn. And you're like, what? Like, this is a far departure from Season 1 of Daredevil. And then Jessica Jones is all about Purple Man. And then Luke Cage is all about being Luke Cage and making his name and, like, you know, trying to make his way through the world. And then, like, if Iron Fist doesn't acknowledge the hand, it's kind of like, okay, well, then what the hell happened with Daredevil there?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they just like reference them, like, yeah, we know about them, like we know about the hand, like the hand is coming or something along those lines.
Yeah,
like that'd be kind of a cool way to work him in, is to have him show up, and you know, coming from Kunlun and all that kind of stuff, like he's kind of like a forerunner. Like I'm here to save the city because the hand is coming, and like they're gonna wreck everybody.
We do know, we do know that the hand is coming for Defenders, because in the teaser for Defenders, it ends with a giant hand like coming for them. And you're like, okay, that's the hand. I get it. All right, the Defender's going to fight ninjas. Fine. So, at the very least, we'll see ninjas in that one. I don't know.
Yeah.
Iron Fist. The trailer was cool. But it told me nothing. You know.
Well, but that's kind of what I'm happy about. I mean, we saw enough to whet our appetite. We saw the Iron Fist. We know like there's going to be Danny Rand just like running out some cool kung fu stuff, so they're not shying away from art. It's not just going to be like brawling, because I wouldn't want to like watch the show and just see him like bare knuckle like street fighting. Like I want to see some martial arts.
Right.
You know, like that's going to be a cool. I mean, it showed me enough that I'm excited for it. Like they didn't give everything away. Like here's the plot of the entire show in 1.5 minutes.
Right.
Like they just gave you enough that like you're like, okay, cool, we got the Iron Fist. We're going to see some martial arts. Obviously, he's a rich guy now, based out of Long Island. Like he's, you know. Now here's my question: is with the direction of the show, I don't know how they're going to take it. are they even going to segue into Heroes for Hire, or does that never happen? That would be my question, because if they never bring Heroes for Hire, I'd be kind of disappointed.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I could imagine something like Heroes for Hire happening post Infinity War.
Yeah.
I definitely see
that would make sense.
I definitely see post Defenders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we'll see Luke and Danny really connect in that show, and then they'll be like, "Hey, we should go into business together."
Oh, you think that they're going to do it? I was thinking they might try to let Misty Knight head up that.
Yeah, because we know Misty Knight is apparently going to be in the Iron Fist show.
Right, and she's definitely she's not pleased with the police force. You know what I mean? Like it almost seemed like they're just leaving it open ended, so they could go
in either direction. It could be Luke and Danny,
or they could use Misty Knight to
run Heroes for Hire or create it. Yeah.
I'm pretty excited for Iron Fist. When we first saw it, I wasn't, but the more I think about it, the more I'm like, look at them going into all magical territory. They got Doctor Strange coming out. They got this coming out.
They
I'm
got
like,
Ghost Rider.
Yay! Yeah, exactly. I'm really excited that they're like full on like, okay, this is like the magical phase.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think, Faust? Have you seen the trailer yet?
I stand by what I say months ago. Months and months and months ago, like a year ago now.
Remind us.
I would have. I don't have problems with Iron Fist. I'm not overly excited. I'm just kind of like, oh, it's Iron Fist. But for this adaptation, I would have kind of like, as someone that is part Asian, I would kind of. It's 2016. I would have liked to have seen someone of my culture representing something from my culture.
Yeah.
I still don't see anything wrong with kind of wanting that. But other than that, it's there. It's happening. I don't have any major feelings against or for it.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. Trailer. Boom.
All right. So the next bit is Sigourney Weaver is going to be the bad guy, like the main bad guy for the Defenders.
Yeah, that came out of left field.
Right.
Dude, okay. I think I'm really hoping that I'm hoping she's going to be an aspect of Mephisto. Like, I'm so serious. I'm hoping she's going to be like the hidden hand behind it all. Mm-hmm. Like she's just manipulating all these things.
Yeah.
Because we're already dealing with Robbie Reyes, and assuming they decide to invoke the full history of Ghost Rider, like we'll see Mephisto at some point along the line. Besides that, honestly, I don't know who she could play that would be a compelling villain for the Defenders.
Yeah.
Well, they could just they could take any classic villain of the Defenders and then just gender bend it to make it work. You know what I mean? Like they could just be like, we're doing something new and crazy because we want Sigourney Weaver and we probably wrote the script with this character in it. So now that character's a chick. Who cares?
Yeah.
We got Sigourney Weaver.
No, I mean, I just can't think of any villain, man or woman, of the Defenders that would make a compelling.
I'm just going to be happy as long as her first line is, get away from her, you bitch.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, the Netflix show, that could happen.
Yeah, that could.
Oh, somebody said Typhoid Mary. Matt, dude,
I've heard that rumor a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like Typhoid Mary needs to...
God.
Yeah. I feel like Typhoid Mary needs to be the same age as Daredevil, because he creates Typhoid Mary.
That's true.
That's what I kind of thought. Like, she needs to be around his age within a couple of years, and Sigourney Weaver obviously is not near his age. But somebody also said Morgan Le Fay.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
I heard rumors that they're also working on a Spider-Man show. No, a Spider-Woman show, and I would more put Morgan Le Fay in a Spider-Woman show because that's kind of was Spider-Woman's original villain.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I think it's going to be someone kind of we don't know. I'm
now,
worried.
For those of you guys out there in... What? Oh, go ahead, man.
I was going to say I'm worried that she's just going to be the CEO of Roxxon. And that, it'll just be, she's just a corporate bad guy.
I'd be kind of disappointed.
Yeah, that would be very disappointing. I agree.
Yeah.
For those of you guys out there in Twitch land who don't know, Morgana Le Fay, if that's what you want to call her, dates all the way back to the age, the original Black Knight, the age of King Arthur. And she was originally an Atlantean. And then when Atlantis sank, she, alongside Merlin, I think, bailed out, and they went to England, and they just lived there for a while, did some stuff. Anyway, Morgana Le Fay is kind of like this behind the scenes, shows up once in a blue moon, villainess in Marvel, but she's really, really knowledgeable about like magic, witchcraft, sorcery, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And she's really powerful, depending on who writes her.
Yes.
But she would make a great villain for especially with Doctor Strange coming up, because you already get like with the Hand, you got mysticism. With Doctor Strange, you got magic. Like, why not just go for it and throw Morgana Le Fay in there and just have her be? Because wouldn't that be a cool concept if like the Hand's origins in mysticism, date back to Morgan Le Fay? Like she's the one that taught them all that stuff. Like that would be super cool, And so she's like the leader. Like that'd be interesting if she was the leader of the Hand. Like that would be.
I mean, she could be the Beast from Shadowland.
That's true. But I feel like it'd be too early to do Shadowland.
I mean, I thought it was too early for them to do a lot of things they did.
Yeah, that's true.
Wouldn't it be cool? Wouldn't it be cool if, like, with her mysticism, they turned around and, like, all of the individual characters' shows all connected, and it was Morgana Le Fay, like, behind the scenes. Like, it turned out she was the one that gave Kilgrave his virus in the beginning.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
It would be cool. I
don't know.
It's easier. I kind of like the ramifications of like putting Mephisto in there, and I'm really interested to see more about how they're gonna explain Robbie Reyes. But with Mephisto, they will inevitably have to explain away the religion aspect of that. You know what I mean? Like like being like, no, it's not that, but like everyone's gonna be like, but it is that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, like, if it's magic, and if it's just someone like Morgan Le Fay, that's so much easier to explain. It's just magic.
Yeah.
It's just magic. Who cares? It's just magic. It's okay, everybody.
I find that Hollywood has no problem acknowledging that the devil exists before God. So I feel like they'd be happy to be like, no, he's the devil. And that's all. Whatever, moving on. Like, you stop asking about, like, heaven and angels and God. But Morgan Le Fay would be cool. I mean, like, it would be a great parallel for the Loki involvement in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, whereas like there's like an ancient god-esque character who manipulates events to create the Avengers, so too in the Defenders is there like an ancient like alternate magician or magical-esque character who manipulates events to create the Defenders. Like that'd be cool.
Yeah. I mean, I guess like we'll know once Mephisto pops out, because I have no doubt Mephisto will be in Infinity War.
You think?
We'll know. Oh, I think so. Like we'll know when Mephisto pops out, because I think they'll be like, and like someone's cast for a mysterious role in Infinity War, and then it'll be like, well, that's Mephisto. And see, to me, that would be a great way to do it, because Thor Ragnarok comes before Infinity War.
Yeah.
And so what they could do is in Thor Ragnarok, Thor dies, and he's like, I'm going to Asgard's afterlife. Like it's different from your afterlife,
Yeah, it's hell.
or something along those lines.
With one L.
Yeah, it's hell, but it's different from where you guys go. And then they turn around and like introduce Mephisto. It's like, well, like Thor has his place, but like mine's a different dimension, for the afterlife or something along the like they kind of use one to explain the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What if she's Hell?
Queen Hell?
Yeah, then that means that they would acknowledge that all this stuff is in the same.
Yeah.
But they seemingly don't want to do that.
Screw it.
Huh.
What's really throwing me off is that they're doing the Defenders without Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Like, that's really throwing me off.
He's so tied in with that team.
Yeah, like, he is, like, pretty much, like, the original reason why the Defenders have come together, Like, it's always a team of misfits who come together and deal with mystical problems, right? So, like, I'm like, without him, I'm like, it could literally be anything. It could be a villain from one of their past. It could be someone that maybe each of them have fought, like, in comics. Like, who knows? Like, it could be just something they make up, which probably won't happen because so far they've been really good about it.
That's true.
But
I mean, the risk they run with their formation is that where the Avengers were, like, formed in a way that was, like, so intricate by Loki, if they don't form it like that, they're gonna risk looking like the budget Avengers.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, the fact is, the Defenders should just team up because they're the only ones with superpowers in a 12-block radius of each other.
I guess, but I mean, like, all right, so, like, Jessica Jones knows Luke Cage, right? And Luke Cage and Eva knows Claire, who knows Daredevil, right? So as long as they can just simply get, Iron Fist in there.
That's true.
Like, their meetup wouldn't be so random. It would just be,
they can meet at Claire's funeral.
Shut up. Shut your mouth. Shut your dirty whore mouth right now.
You know that's what's gonna happen.
No!
They're gonna kill Night Nurse.
She's gonna become Night Nurse.
She's gonna be the Coulson of the Defenders.
No.
Sorry, everybody.
I hate you.
I love that character. I would watch a Night Nurse show where she sets up her practice in the barbershop upstairs.
Don't. That barbershop's cursed. Stop saying Claire's gonna die, everyone. Stop.
Oh no, I'm with him on this one. Like, oh, she will die. Like,
no.
she'll be the catalyst that brings them all together. Like she'll die, and they'll be like, we have to come together to defeat her. Like, I'm with Sal on this one. Like, that's exactly what'll happen.
It's gonna be really rough.
Hashtag don't. Yeah, if they kill Claire, we riot.
I'm gonna riot.
That is a more believable way of them teaming up than there being a random battle that they all just happen to be at. Because the only way they would all just happen to be at there is if the battle was someone starting on Jessica Jones, because there's no way that Netflix version of Jessica Jones would run in to save the day from anyone unless they're paying.
Oh, yeah. No, she would have to just be dragged in or be accidentally nearby or something like that. There's no way she's looking for trouble.
Yeah. I don't know. Either way, it'll come out pretty solid. I mean, I could easily see Rosario Dawson playing that role, but in the end, I mean, I could definitely see Sigourney Weaver being like, the CEO of Roxxon. It'd be kind of disappointing, but it would be a way to segue in with RandCorp and just be like, like I'm fighting a battle on two fronts, on the street level, and I'm fighting against, corporate entities that are manipulative. Plus, they've been teasing Roxxon Oil forever.
Yes!
Like, they've just kind of bouncing around Roxxon for the longest time.
Roxxon's been in the movies, it's been in the shows, it's been in every show. It's been on Peggy Carter, it's been on S.H.I.E.L.D., it's been on Defenders, it's everywhere. I'm also disappointed, by the way, that Justin Hammer is not going to be the villain of the Defenders. They don't care about him. Oh. His influence or his fingerprint is in Luke Cage, and it's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. That blew me away when they were like, this is Hammer Tech. And I was like, what?
Yeah, and then somebody said, like, compliments of Justin Hammer. I'm like, yeah, put him in the show. He's so great.
You know what's amazing to me is their restraint from ever using hammer time.
Yeah, no one ever says it's hammer time. Oh, can we, really quick, when we were at New York Comic Con, there was like a big, there was a keynote going on behind closed curtains in the press room, and the song they played to start the keynote was the same song they played at Stark Expo that Justin Hammer comes out to. And all I can think of is freaking, what's his name, Sam Rockwell, like, dancing awkwardly up to the stage. I'm like, please tell me that actually happened behind that curtain. It was so
that would
great.
Be amazing.
Anyway.
Dude, I would pay good money to see that.
Yeah.
Right?
He's like, they just ran out of another they were going to run out of ink. Oh my god. Also, we forgot to mention the Punisher will definitely be on Defenders. There's no freaking question they will do that.
Yeah.
He's too popular to just allow him to be out in no man's land by himself.
There's no way that, like, if the Defenders are going to, like, start blowing crap up in Hell's Kitchen, that Frank's not going to go, like, I guess I'll get my chain gun.
The village is right there.
Yeah.
Like, it's nearby.
So? Oh, you mean like Bleecker Street?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
I know it's not going to happen.
He should.
Doctor Strange has bigger fish to fry. Like, Doctor Strange, he was like, what's that sound? Like, he opened his curtains, looking out the window, he was like, man, I got bigger shit to worry about.
Dude, that's
Went back to studying his book.
That's his jam.
I kind of really want Rob to be Doctor Strange, where he's like, yo, I got bigger shit to worry about than that.
I got time for that. I would be Senior Magico. Like, that's what I would be. That guy was amazing.
Yeah. Good deep dive.
Oh, man.
Wow.
But anyway, so moving on to our topics.
Yes.
So Ultimate Spider-Man ends with season 4, and they are launching a new show with the same creative team. Now, I never really watched much of Ultimate Spider-Man just because I assume that's all based on Miles Morales, or is it based on Peter Parker?
No, it's all about Peter Parker. Miles Morales has cameoed in a bunch of episodes.
Yeah.
And by the way, they got Donald Glover to play him, which is amazing because he's the visual impetus behind the Miles Morales character.
Yep.
But Ultimate Spider-Man was it started out as kind of like an almost serious show with some comedic elements to like a weird hybrid of Teen Titans Go and an actual show.
Yeah. Like
Avengers Assemble meets Teen Titans Go, and it's just such garbage.
You know what is frustrating is that they pulled so much from comics, but I didn't care.
Yeah, they're doing all these like great things. They're doing they did Spider-Verse more or less. Like you got Agent Venom in there. You have the Iron Spider costumes.
The Sinister Six.
They did Kane as Scarlet Spider. Like they did a lot of really really cool stuff. But they showed like mummified Dr. Octopus, like that character. They did Miles Morales, and yet nothing in that show was compelling or had stakes or was interesting.
Yeah, and that's really it.
So
I mean,
yeah.
I posted this in the chat earlier, but for everyone that's watching on Twitch, Spider-Man shows are like buses. You wait all day for one, and then 4 turn up at once, and then you get in there, and you're disappointed, and you wish you just got an Uber.
Yeah.
The Uber in this case being season 5 of Teen Titans.
You guys really don't like Ultimate Spider-Man.
It's just a really crappy show.
You know what it is? It's like, I don't know who it's for.
Yeah, because it's trying to be for all of us fans.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, they do things that are clearly aimed at, like, kids, right? But, like, those kids don't really care about, like, the Sinister Six, or, like, continuity, or, like, Kane, you know what I mean?
Yeah, or
like,
references that are clearly not for them.
Right, so it's like this weird show where they're like, well, we'll just make it everything, and it'll just be kind of good at a couple of things, but not really.
I love the people who are like, it's a kid's show, guys. Yeah, you know what? Like, they make stuff that are for children that are not talking down to you, and that's exactly what Ultimate Spider-Man is. And I'm sorry to burst your bubble or something, but the fact is, like, it is dumbed down, and it is for the lowest common denominator. It's
very true. I mean, like, look at a show like Gravity Falls. That show is aimed at children.
It is, yeah, that's a children's show.
It's a kid's show.
That is also, like, watched by more adults than I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's a well-told story that doesn't play it down. Like, they're just like, kids will get some things, and that'll be it. And
yeah.
That whole sort of cartoon resurgence scene, like Steven Universe, Gravity Falls, Adventure Time, they're all kids shows
that are not really stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, the fact that show is dead, I will not mourn Ultimate Spider-Man. And the implication is that this new show, Marvel's Spider-Man, is going to be, like, I guess more of a serious take, but it's, you know, like an actual narrative show. Like, in the same vein as maybe Spectacular Spider-Man, although, it's, you know, Weisman's not anywhere near this, or Weissman's not anywhere near this show, and, you know, it's weird. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with it. Mm-hmm. All we saw, as far as, like, the look of the show, is a very, very, very small, pixelated version of Spider-Man, like, looking really lanky. And once again, by the way, just in case you forgot, it's an origin show, so Spider-Man will get his powers, and Uncle Ben will die again, and he'll learn about power and responsibility all over again, and he'll be a young hero that's just trying to make it in this workaday world, and it's like, boy, have I not seen that before. About every incarnation. If I see
Uncle Ben die one more time, I'm going to make sure he stays dead this time.
I'm going to kill him myself next time.
He's died so many times, it's like he doesn't even exist anymore. So,
I mean, it's like, I get it. He dies. You know what will be surprising at this point? Kill off the aunt as well.
Yeah. That would be bold. They only did that twice.
Yeah.
But
in an explosion. Kill them both in an explosion
they'll kill off Peter Parker, and then Aunt May will get spider powers.
Yes. And she'll be weak.
That probably happened at some point in the multiverse.
I'm sure it did. I have no doubt that that's true.
What?
That it's in some multiverse or some other...
There is no book where she gets spider powers.
It doesn't have to be written yet. If you can think it, it's in the multiverse.
Right,
there is, by the way, there is a book where she does become Herald of Galactus, though.
The golden oldie.
No, she could be like the younger Aunt May.
Right.
And like she could avenge her nephew's death.
Yeah.
And then,
yeah.
And it'll eventually eat away at her relationship with Uncle Ben. And,
naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, because we can't have a married Spider-Woman or whatever she would be.
And then Uncle Ben is so, like, distraught at the end of his marriage that he becomes Dr. Octopus.
Exactly,
Perfect.
Because he was a scientist.
Yeah.
Or an engineer prior to that.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
That sounds great. Anyway, I think the show will be cool. I'm looking forward to it. Her name is Spider-Ma'am.
That's genius.
That's funny.
I guess we'll see what happens.
On
but
Deadpool.
Okay, so I guess moving on. So Richard Rider officially makes his return in Nova number 11. Now, this is actually kind of interesting to me because this kind of feels like Marvel taking like a DC Rebirth approach.
Yes.
You know, in the sense, you know, with regards to the Nova title. I didn't think Sam Alexander was bad. I thought Sam Alexander was actually pretty cool. I wish they'd kind of, you know, keep the emphasis on him and allow Richard Rider to have his own book. But, you know, in my mind, Richard Rider was good for the time, but I kind of feel like Richard Rider's old hat. And I think that with the Nova Corps, like, you got to have, I mean, Sam Alexander's kind of where it is now. And I think that they need to move away from him focusing on trying to find his dad and just have him just be Nova and revamp the Nova Corps, you know, to say, okay, fine, even if I don't lead it, like, we're going to reform the Nova Corps, we're going to find the World Mind, you know, we're restructure the World Mind, and we're going to have the Nova Corps make a return, as opposed to Richard Rider. That said, we're in a new age of storytelling. So we could see some really great Richard Rider stories because, leading up to Annihilation, the Richard Rider stories were actually really cool.
Yeah.
And when he's like the last survivor of the Nova Corps, like there's that really cool scene where like everybody dies and he's like anybody, he's just like the last Nova Corps member left.
Yeah.
That was a really cool thing. There's a lot of rich history there, but I would love to see the World Mind, the Nova Corps make a return and have Sam Alexander become part of it because I feel like for his character, it would be vindication because right now he's just like the only Nova superhero for the most part.
Well, and he doesn't really do anything noteworthy or interesting or galactic, and it's like, the one of the issues is because like I dug Richard Rider, but only after Annihilation, and I think that's how most people remember him. And they kind of killed him off shortly thereafter, and it was like people only remember the good, and they only really liked like when they redeemed the character because they redeemed him and then immediately killed him, and it was like, oh, I mean, like he lasted a little while afterwards, but it was just you're still remembering how awesome he became out of this like really epic conflict, and you're forgetting like his solo series when he had a mullet that was pouring out of his helmet, and you're forgetting like when he was a crappy new warrior, and like you're forgetting all the old stuff about how like Richard Rider did not make money. Like, you know what I mean? Like he was not a popular character for a long time, and his death was probably by Marvel like an afterthought. They're like, yeah, we'll kill Richard Rider. Who cares? I while I'm kind of like good, I'm glad he's coming back. It's kind of like I wish they had just done something really cool with Sam. Like I wish I'd done something really cool with Sam. Where did I get that snapback? What's that?
My hat.
Oh, this hat?
Yeah.
You got that at New York Comic Con thanks to Stylin' Online.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a sweet hat. They actually gave this to us as part of our swag challenge, so it's a sweet hat. I love this hat. If I wore hats, I would wear it more, but I don't.
So I wear it, and I love it. Because now I'm part of the Galactic Empire. But like the cool, edgy Galactic Empire where we still can't actually aim.
Well, that's casual day for Stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We get to leave the helmet at home. It's cool.
Yeah.
Somebody raised a really good question, like why couldn't Richard Rider be a mentor to Sam Alexander? So to me, that's cool, because I know the new story is supposed to focus on the two of them together. But I wouldn't mind seeing like what they're doing with the Green Lantern. You got Green Lanterns, and then you got Hal Jordan and the Green Lanterns.
Yeah.
And so you got Hal Jordan going off trying to find the Green Lanterns after the events of Edge of Oblivion.
Yep.
And then you got Simon Baz and Jessica Cruz sitting at home, sitting on Earth being superheroes there. To me, that'd be cool. Like you've got Sam Alexander being a superhero on Earth, and then you've got Richard Rider going out and trying to reform the Nova Corps. And then once the Nova Corps is reformed, then Richard Rider officially inducts Sam Alexander into the Corps, teaches him how to be a member of the Nova Corps, and then Sam Alexander takes the knowledge he learns, the training he gets, and takes it back to Earth and just stays a superhero on Earth. To me, that'd be cool, because then you have both stories going at the same time. Like, you got Richard Rider in the Nova Corps doing galactic stuff, going out there, and then you've got Sam Alexander staying at home, and everybody wins. So I think it'd be a pretty cool, like, that's the direction I would take it. But I'm not running the show over at Marvel, so I don't I can't decide that.
No, I agree with you. I think that's a really good plan, because it allows you to explore the greater galactic Marvel universe, which is already like making some bank. So it's like, come on, like people really seem to respond to it thanks to the success of Guardians of the Galaxy. So let's see another corner. I mean, I think only Al Ewing is playing in space right now.
But then at the same time, isn't Sam Alexander in the Champions at the moment?
Yes, he is, and he's doing his like nothing right now. Like he's hanging out with the Champions, and that's great. Like, good for him.
Yeah.
But the implication of the Champions is that we're going to. I think it's going to be the most Avengers team not called Avengers yet, because I think that we're going to see a rotating cast of champions. I think that not the champions you see on the cover. Number one, the champions you see on the first issue cover are not the champions in the book you're reading. And number two, that the champions that you see right now as the champions are not going to remain the champions. I think you're going to see like rotating cast members, and so there's opportunity for Sam to like do other things or be a champion at the same time. That'll be cool. I'm excited for that book as well.
Yeah, like that's why I say that idea kind of works, because right now you've got Al Ewing's Ultimates, and you've got Starbrand, and I can't remember the other guy.
Nightmask?
Nightmask, who are doing the. But the problem with Starbrand and Nightmask is no one's reading it. and even I'm not really reading it, because I couldn't really. I felt like Al Ewing did a better job with Ultimates dealing with the Marvel cosmology than what's going on in Starbrand and Night Mask. But, you know, they still answer a few questions. Like, they were the ones that first revealed that eternity is still there. You know, they were the ones that first revealed that the cosmic entities all came back. They haven't just vanished, you know, with all different Marvel. So that was cool to see that. But I feel like Al Ewing's offered more explanation on where we stand with the Marvel cosmology and all different Marvel. That said, you know, maybe it's just me kind of gravitating back to the stuff that I know, because I would love to see characters like Quasar come back, you know, like Phyla-Vell. I'd love to see her.
I would rather see Phyla-Vell. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Like, I would love to see, like, some old school characters make a return, but at the same time, if there were a book called Quasar, how long would it really last? Like, it probably
maybe 8 issues.
Yeah, it
would buy it.
If it was Phyla-Vell, yeah.
They have to take it back to like 1970s, you know, 1960s comics, like, you know, Phyla-Vell issue number 1, like, you will not believe who dies in this issue. You know, like, it would have to be something crazy.
I remember
you know?
when
it would still be cool.
I remember when Quasar ended in the 90s, and that last issue, like the finale of Quasar, where Quasar's got to leave, he has to leave Earth.
Yeah.
And he's trying to like say goodbye to everybody, and no one will let him because like no one gives a crap about Quasar. And then he ultimately just leaves, like disgraced and alone, and you're like, wow. Way to send him off.
Do you know what's funny? Yeah. I was first introduced to Quasar in that Guardians of the Galaxy run.
The Dan Abnett run.
Yeah, the Abnett run.
So you got Phyla-Vell
Which,
Quasar.
like, that was my
way cooler.
first introduction to the Guardians of the Galaxy. It had Adam Warlock in it. It had Quasar in it. It had all this stuff. I had no idea who any of these characters are. And immediately I was like, this is the coolest book I've ever read. Like, I was just so like, this is awesome.
Yeah, you dug the cosmic.
So, like, anytime someone's like Quasar, I'm like, yes.
Yeah, she was really cool.
I liked her.
But that one.
Yeah, because people dig cosmic stuff. Like, people, because for maybe it's just me, but for some reason I think people kind of gravitate towards, like, ridiculously overpowered characters. And
yes, they do.
Marvel's cosmology is where you find that, where you find like the Galactuses, and that's where you find like the cosmic entities and stuff like that. That's where you find those. Now, that having said that, like in hindsight, it's like, wow, there was this great big huge Marvel cosmology that was being explored. It was explored in bits and pieces over the years.
Yeah,
like,
they were still
you kind of had to.
They were filling in the blanks as you went. They didn't have the whole plan.
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't like an ongoing series called like the Marvel Cosmology, which actually that'd be a series I'd read the hell out of. That'd be a great idea. Like, I would definitely read that.
Ladies and gentlemen, like, tweet at Marvel, by the way.
And say, the ongoing, like the Marvel cosmology, and it just shows you everything that's going on. Like at this moment right now, Galactus is eating a world, and Eternity is playing chess with Infinity, and like the Celestials
or the Grandmaster.
Or the Grandmaster, yeah, like it'd be kind of cool to see that kind of thing. But I think people really like the super powerful characters, and the Marvel cosmology is where you find that. Plus, you know, it can lend itself towards some really cool stories. I mean, I get that with all different Marvel, they're trying to get everything launched. Like, they're just kind of like, here's where things stand right now at this moment, and so it's really too early to start jumping into, you know, insane cosmological events like Annihilation or something like that. But it's certainly an idea to kick around for the future once we're, you know, once we're 1 year out from. Well, I guess we are 1 year out. Once we're 2 years out from the start of all different Marvel.
I guess we are only a year out. Oh, jeez. And we're still not ready.
I didn't realize that. Like, I had looked up, what was it? I had looked up something, and I was like, are we really 1 year out from the start of all different Marvel? Like, it's been a year?
Yeah, that was at the panel. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. But anyway, so the Black Panther movie, and I'm really curious about this. The Black Panther movie recruits Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I don't know who my guess, and this is what I'm thinking about Forrest Whitaker. I think he's going to play Bast. Like, I think we're going to see the Panther God. Now, it's weird to me because in the Marvel universe, the Panther goddess, it changes. Like, in some stories, it's the Panther goddess. But then in other stories, it's the Panther God. Like, if you go back and read older stories and they reference Bast, you know, depicted itself as like a woman.
Yes.
And you know, to the Wakandans.
Right.
But Bast, as it was viewed by Egyptians, was a guy. So I don't know if they're just going to stick with the male thing. To me, and I'll be honest here, I actually wouldn't mind seeing an amalgamation where, like, you know, T'Challa talks to Bast, and it's a man and a woman talking at the same time.
That'd be really cool.
To me, like, that would be super cool because it's like I'm either. But I could also see, you know. I mean, aside from that, like T'Challa's dad died, which, by the way, Forrest Whitaker would have been a great person to play.
Yeah, he should have been T'Chaka.
Yeah, but you know, like, his dad died, so that's obviously not a role he's going to play. They said he's playing Zuri.
Yeah.
What? Wasn't that like the advisor to Black Panther?
I think it was.
I don't remember who that was. I don't remember who that was off the top of my head. He's playing Zuri.
He should just play Forrest Whitaker, who's just coming to visit.
Yeah, he's just like,
he just stumbled across Wakanda.
Yeah. They're like, who are you? He's like, I'm Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that would be hilarious. Oh, okay. He was a loyal companion. Okay, so yeah, he's going to be an advisor for Black Panther then.
Okay, that'd be cool.
He was killed by Morlun.
Oh.
When?
Oh, God, no.
Oh.
Spider-Verse, yay! Guys, this is it. Spider-Verse confirmed. But
and then Blade will show up just cause.
His uncle advisor. Okay, cool. Well, that makes sense if he's going to play an advisor. See, that's a good role for Forrest Whitaker, where he's like the old man with sage, like the old sage man with good advice.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be a good role for him. But yeah, because somebody would have to step up and be kind of like the advisor, father figure, because assuming they don't really leave a whole lot of time between, Captain America, Civil War, and Black Panther, well, then, like, his dad dies and now he's the king. So
right.
Somebody's got to be there to help guide him along the path of, like,
it's
being
true.
an effective king. So
yeah, I agree with that.
I'd be curious to see how that's going to work. But anyway, so, all right, so breaking away from comics for a second, guys. We grew up in the 1990s. I'm terrified to ask Tiffany's age, but we'll assume she grew up around that time. And the fact remains that we know who the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers are.
Yes.
Now, during New York Comic Con, they dropped the trailer for Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Faust has been dying to talk about this. I'll be honest, man. Like, this was a far cry.
It looks real bad.
I don't know what that was.
It looks terrible. It looks terrible.
No, because, okay, so context. I spent the first few years of my life in Singapore. I watched Super Sentai. Didn't watch Mighty Morphin Power Rangers until like 2 or 3 years ago. And I love it because it's so bad it's good.
Yeah.
This looks like it's gonna be so shit, it's amazing.
It looks like Gem and the Hologram's bad.
No, Gem and the Holograms was just bad, and we should forget that ever happened.
I genuinely
think it's going to be Birdemic level of bad.
That's bad.
No,
I don't know.
Here's the thing. I'm not against a dark Power Rangers movie. Like that 10-minute, little movie that we got, that little mini movie.
Yeah.
Like that was made by the same guy that did Dirty Laundry.
Oh,
like,
yeah, that was awesome.
That was amazing. Like that is a Power Rangers movie I want to see.
Yeah.
Like where they're more or less like swindled into being Power Rangers by, like, they're promised these riches, and they end up just kind of being shanghaied into being soldiers. Like that I'm down with. Like that I really want to see. But this one, like, I mean, it's, as far as I understand, Max Landis has something to do with it. So it makes sense that it would just be like a retold version of Chronicle, because that's what it comes across.
No,
like,
as I understand it, he wrote a script that he pitched to them. They rejected it, and they fired him off of Power Rangers, and then they just wound up just ripping off one of his other movies and doing this awful thing. Like it just
like this to me feels like Chronicle. Like it feels like what if Chronicle happened, but it had Power Rangers instead?
Right, but instead of powers, they just got Zords
and Elizabeth.
Yeah, well.
Oh no, they do have
powers.
I don't know
if they're going. Oh yeah, they actually because they see that's why I say it feels like Chronicle, because like they touch some artifact and then suddenly they have powers. Like man, it's kind of weird to me, because I don't know if they're going for the cheesy element, but I mean, I would rather have seen like a darker, like where they've lost everything kind of thing, like what we saw in that little 10-minute movie, as opposed to what this looks like. But again,
my issue with like going for a dark Power Rangers in general is just that everything these days is like, let's take a 90s thing and make it dark.
Yeah.
They'll love that. It's just like, I've seen it so many times. Like, dark isn't good, people.
No, dark isn't just what? Well, dark isn't mature. It's not like, we'll make it like for adults by making it dark. Like that's not a thing. That doesn't fit.
Well, I mean, it's not a matter of like everything being dark is bad. If it's dark and it's written well, then it's good. If it's dark and it's written bad, then it's bad. Like it's just a matter of how it's written. I mean, I don't know, like, well, I guess all the Netflix series are supposed to be dark. I don't know, something along those lines. Like,
they're supposed to be
but the fact remains, like, like, I mean, I'm gonna go see it regardless. But I would rather see something that's like,
not seeing that.
I'd rather see something that would be like dark and gritty, as opposed to what looks to just be terror bad.
Yeah, I will see it probably at a matinee, like 3 weeks after it came out, like Ninja Turtles 2.
Yeah,
which I'm so glad I saw.
I'll probably do what I did for X-Men Apocalypse, where I bought a ticket for Zootopia, then snuck into X-Men Apocalypse.
Nice.
Yeah. X-Men Apocalypse, man, wow. Pass.
Yeah. If you do that here in America, Faust, they'll drag you into the street and shoot you. Like, you're not allowed to sneak into the theaters and
so
stuff.
Jason David Frank's still going to be Tommy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's just going to show up and just be
yeah.
Hey, I mean, kids.
After the trailer dropped, I saw an article where he said there is still a possibility of a Green Ranger spin-off TV show.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Yeah, guess what? The movie will make maybe $20 million.
I mean, I don't know. It could turn out to be really good, and the teaser was just not well put together. I mean, I don't know.
Who would sit there and look at that teaser and be like, yeah, let's put that out?
Yeah, this looks pretty
awesome.
Good. Yeah, there's nothing about that looks professional or good.
I mean, when you narrow it down, there are 3 possibilities. 1, it's so shit, it's amazing.
Right.
I mean, 2, it's just shit. Or number 3, it will be all right, but it won't make its money back.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know much about the production. I need to, like... People are asking, like, you know, maybe is it as bad as Fan 4 Stick? And we know that, like, because Fan 4 Stick had the issue where, you know, they had this independent director who made a movie for, like, $20,000. And so they're like, you seem to know what you're doing. And they gave him $600 million and put him out there, and he failed. And then Studio came in and tried to, like, make it even worse and succeeded. I feel like... I feel like there's no one who cares enough about the Power Rangers franchise at that studio for there to be any, like, conflict. I think this is exactly the movie they wanted to make, where they're like, this is safe. Like, just put this and this.
I guess. I don't know.
But then if they're going safe, it might end up coming out like Transformers and...
Yeah, that's true. Well, the problem, you know what's weird about Transformers is they're all so terrible. And they all...
Well, Benny loves them.
He does. Well, you know, who does... I mean, like, listen, you know who else loves the Transformers movies? Everyone in the whole world.
Wait. Rob?
Yeah.
We got a subscriber.
Sploosh!
Thanks, Fred. So those Transformers movies make more money every single time there's a new Transformers movie. There are no diminishing returns to those movies. So how is it... Like that's real. But anyway,
because they make most of their money back in China.
Yeah, I gotta tell.
Knew that was coming. Here, answer it.
Well, I mean, in the end, like, as long as it's fun is really the only thing that matters. Like, is The Hangover a good movie? Well, it's never going to win an Academy Award, but it's fun. Yeah. It's just a fun movie to go watch. And so,
first one,
in the end, like that's the first one. In the end, that's the only thing that really matters to me is that it's just fun. And even if it's not well made, it may just be fun. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm going to go see it.
It was.
I mean, Oh, you can go.
Okay. That teaser was nothing of what I was expecting.
No.
Like, nothing about that. If you had, like, not shown me or, like, told me that it was the Power Rangers movie up until the end, I would have been like, wait, really?
Yeah.
Well, I will say, Rita's costume made me angry because I really just wanted to see Rita again. Like,
right?
And then, there's that.
No, what if she were a Power Ranger and she wears the tattered remains of her old Power Rangers uniform? Like, I guess that's the idea.
She's the Green Ranger.
I think she is green.
She is.
Yeah, she is. And I was just like, you know, I'm gonna sound like a fucking Super Sentai purist. I'm not. I really don't care that much. But in Super Sentai, Rita Repulsa was a witch that sold her soul to the devil, and that's why she looked like that.
Right.
And I kind of wanted to see the modern take on that.
Right.
And I didn't get that. I got, you know, sort of tattered remains of a Sentai suit.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, it's...
She looks more like Scorpina than she looks like a Green Ranger.
No, I think she's a Green Ranger.
Yeah. Makes sense. It's dumb.
Yeah.
Anyway, who cares?
All right, so moving on. Apparently, America Chavez is getting her own solo series. Now, I'm not 100% sure, and this is, I guess, you know, somebody explain what's going on with this, because I can't really see America Chavez holding her own title. I mean, it's cool that she could, like, just jump through dimensions, which would be a great way to kind of explore, like, the other dimensions in the Marvel Universe, or the other universes.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I don't really know. I mean, I can see it being, like, a fun story, because, like, she's fun in Ultimates. Like, she's really, really fun to read about, because she dances and stuff, you know, which is part of what she does. But the fact remains that I don't see how she could hold her own title.
The question is, and this is a greater question, does Marvel have any idea about what they're doing when it comes to rebuilding their cosmology? Because I feel like they just make it up as they go. Like, if they had a map, not quite Grant Morrisonian, but like just a list of all the realities that they've created and all the realities they want to go back to, and they just have a comprehensive list and like, this is what you can draw from when it comes to the multiverse, and if you want to create one, you just got to run it by us. I feel like that's not what's going on, and I feel like whenever America Chavez like goes through another reality, it's just going to be like, well, and then it's a pirate reality or whatever. I don't care. Like, it's an interesting idea, and it's like, she's a fun character because she has no stake in the reality she's in. She's like, well, I've met 1,000 like you, and you're all dead. Who cares? Like, and that's a really cool character. So I'd like to see that explored, and I think that that's the way you deal with a solo series for America Chavez. You deal with her like giving a crap about something.
Why don't they just give her a graphic novel? Like, just
like a
story.
Yeah, well, because then they wouldn't be able to make $5 off of you every month.
Well, there was also like in the last Young Avengers run, they kind of shoehorned her in there, and it didn't make sense because you already had Billy that could travel through dimensions.
Right.
Yeah, she would be part of some of the Earthbound stuff that's going on, guys, because as long as Civil War II is going on, the Ultimates are there, so you would see her and crossing over and different things. But yeah, no, I mean, I think it'd be kind of cool to kind of like, I feel like with this character, they could make up the mistake they did with. So this is what I would like with America Chavez right now in Marvel. You've got Spider-Gwen just like running around in dimensions and stuff. Like, take Spider-Gwen out of that position, have Spider-Gwen explore her own universe, and have America Chavez take her place, where she just like runs around. Like, have something where she's trying to find an artifact or trying to find a thing or whatever it is, or maybe she's just like, you know what, guys, like after Civil War II, I just need time for myself, and she just bails out and she just starts going around and exploring like all these different universes. Like, that would be fun, where it's just basically like a multiversal road trip.
Can I say
that would be fun?
Can I say, wouldn't it be fun if, just a really quick thing, if, like, at the end of the series, or at the end of the first arc, she arrives at, like, this kind of odd, space-like asteroid, and she's got this little, like, iPad thing, and she's like, here you go, big, like, the last, let's say 12 issues, she went to 12 different realities, she's like, here's 12 updated, and Reed Richards like, thanks a lot. He's indexing all the, like, multiverse.
Right. It also
would be cool.
It'd be a fun way just to once again do the what if books.
Yes, but just with one, instead of them
with
all
a guide.
with a guide who's like, I'm in this crazy reality and it's kind of about me. Like, that'd be really fun.
But then, like, knowing
they did that already. It was called Exiles.
Well, knowing the boner that Marvel has at the moment, it would quickly turn into America Chavez featuring Gwen? Question mark?
Oh yeah. Well, they could actually do. It would be a fun, like, alternate Marvel team up kind of book, because like Marvel team up used to be like, let's pit Spider-Man with Namor or Spider-Man with Adam Warlock, and we'll see how what kind of zany adventures they get into. It would be like America Chavez meets Dark Beast, like America Chavez meets Mary Jane the Spectacular Spider-Woman. What? Like, that's basically what it would be like.
I know.
Which is fun. I would read that book. Although I did when it was called Exiles. And
I was kind of thinking that,
but yeah. That book got away from itself also. So that's the thing, is that like any book you deal with that dabbles in alternate realities and that's its main focus doesn't last forever, because eventually it runs out of steam, because you can only read about characters that don't exist in like a main reality that you care about for so long. It's but I mean, like, good for them for doing one. The reason why Joel put it on the list is because apparently the guy who was originally going to be working on, or whoever's going to be working on the original America Chavez series, like, pitched the book. Marvel said no, and then he left the book and then created his own America Chavez series using his pitch. And then, like, shortly after they announced they were going to do that series, Marvel announced, oh, you know what, actually we are going to do an America Chavez series. So, and who cares? Just want to make, that's what Joel wanted to mention.
Right.
Was that, like, Marvel might be, like, that petty and vindictive.
They might be, but it's just interesting that they're bringing, like, Nova and America Chavez, like Sam Alexander and America Chavez, like, back into the light. And, like, I don't know why, like, they're not super young characters, but they are younger characters, and I'm wondering if that'll have to do with, I don't know, anything that they're planning for the future, or they're trying, you know what I mean? Like,
they are putting some emphasis on, like, the youth.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if that's part of it.
Well,
like
they do that. Well, they do that like every 10 years or so. They
yeah.
so almost 10 years ago to the day with the Young Avengers.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering if this is kind of a sort of, like this is a.
This is all part of some kind of like
plan that they have.
Yeah.
Well, consider this. They've got the Runaways TV show coming out. More emphasis on the youth.
Very true. Very true.
And there's like Nico in A-Force again, emphasis on the youth. So it's like they just do it periodically. Speaking as someone that kind of like specializes in those teenage hero books,
that's right.
And I kind of hate, and I hate myself for it. But yeah, it's right on time.
Yeah.
Right.
Good call.
Yeah. But all right, so the next topic is that they have revealed the cast for the Punisher Netflix show.
Yes.
Cool.
And I'm very excited about this. And here's why. Because the cast for the Punisher Netflix show is basically the supporting cast for everybody else. and I'm happy because one of the things that I think that they've kind of been missing in Netflix so far is cohesiveness. When you're building up individual characters, like Iron Fist and Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, so on and so forth, they do have their own villains.
Yeah.
And attention needs to be paid to those villains, which, of course, with a season 1 of each of those series, they basically have their own thing. But with the Punisher, his villain is whoever did something bad at that particular point in time.
Yeah.
And so it's like you can't really build up a rogues gallery for him because the rogues gallery is everybody. So, like all the bad guys ever. And so I think it's a good idea because what it does is it kind of makes him a wild card in the Netflix series.
Yeah.
Like, well, whose side is he going to join? Is he going to be on the Defender side? Or is he going to say, well, you Defenders are taking the law into your own hands. That's vigilantism. It's okay if I do it, but it's not okay if you do it.
Right. Or you're not going far enough.
To attack you.
Right.
You're not going far enough. Exactly. Like, see, that was one of the coolest things when he told Daredevil, like, I think you're a half measure. Yeah. And, like, you're not like, he's like, you put them down, they get back up. I put them down, and they stay down. And maybe that's what he does. Like when the Defenders are fighting, he's like, no, you have to destroy the hand. You can't just defeat the hand.
Right.
I could see that being the case, and I think it's great because it gives him. It doesn't really say like here's his little niche here. It's the Punisher is everywhere, which I think fits in because he goes wherever he needs to go and kills whoever he needs to kill. He doesn't really have a jurisdiction. To quote, The Dark Knight, Batman has no jurisdiction. Punisher has no jurisdiction.
Yeah.
He'll go wherever he needs. And I think it works. I think it works really well for him.
I kind of like the idea of the Punisher in the Defender series almost running most of the time parallel to their story. Mm-hmm. And, like, Daredevil's painfully aware of it. And it's like, we really got to deal with this, guys. They're like, we have a much larger problem.
Yeah.
And inevitably they cross over. But, like, they're not necessarily at odds with each other initially or even at any point. It's just he's also simultaneously taking care of the hand just in a different way. And they're like...
That'd be amazing.
They're like, we'll have to address this at some point, but this is not the time nor the place to do so.
I would love a moment where like they're all doing their thing as the Defenders and Matt's like, you have no idea who's back there. Like...
Yeah. Yeah, no, because it creates this kind of this ominous tone. At any point in time, the Punisher could appear, and when he does, like you could imagine this situation. You could imagine the Defenders being there, they're fighting some conflict, and the Punisher shows up. And Luke Cage or Iron Fist or somebody asks a question, and they're like, whose side is he on? The Punisher's like, I'm not on anybody's side. Like I'm on my side.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it
I'm
would
on
just
the side
be so
of justice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the side of killing people.
I can imagine like coming into a room and like there's a whole bunch of hand ninjas just dead.
Yeah.
And like Matt immediately knows what's going on.
Yeah, Matt's like, oh, we gotta get out of here.
And Jessica's like, all right.
Yeah, and that actually would create its own little mini civil war.
Right?
Over
she's like, no, this is great.
Yeah. He's actually being effective.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not the biggest piece of news. It's kind of cool because they're fleshing out this Punisher concept, and I'm really excited to see what they do because I'm so hyped for a Punisher show.
I will say the announcement that Karen Page will be a regular on the Punisher show does not excite me in any way because I hate Karen Page.
That's instead of Claire, let's just kill her.
Yeah, let's kill Karen. She's gonna die anyway.
Let's just kill Karen. And then I don't know how we'd make that work.
Whatever, who cares?
I don't care. You just kill her, and then everyone shows up at the funeral.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Nobody cares about her except for Matt.
Well, I don't care. I don't want Claire to die.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry she's going to, though.
Yeah.
So my favorite bit of news here.
Okay.
Faust.
Faust.
My favorite bit of news here is that Marguerite Bennett is writing the Batwoman series. Now, what a genius decision by DC.
Yeah.
To have Batgirl be part of Birds of Prey, where she's off doing her own thing, and Batwoman takes the place of Batgirl.
Yeah.
What a genius maneuver! Because that was my question when they said when they show Batwoman in Detective Comics, I'm like, one of two things is going to happen here. Either she's going to be a Detective Comics only character, which that would suck.
Yeah.
Or she's going to take the place of Batgirl and get her own solo series alongside the Bat family, which would be awesome. And I'm glad we're getting the latter of the two, because I'm so excited to see where they go with this. I'm not sure who her villains would be. I mean, I guess you could just kind of give her Batgirl's villains, but that would seem kind of cheap.
She's got her own villains. She has Alice and.
Oh, do what?
They got her father as well. That's that's a villain.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think they would I didn't think they'd rehash that stuff. I was kind of thinking with DC Rebirth, like they would come back and just say like, here is your whole. Well, I guess as part of DC Rebirth.
Yeah, I mean,
they would do that.
That's the reason people fell in love with Batwoman, is that like this is why I'm sort of have mixed feelings on it, is that she kind of dealt with villains that the Bat family had never really paid attention to, and because Batwoman came along, those villains sprung up, but it turned out they'd always been there, just no one had paid attention to them, and they were like a major threat, like a huge threat, and she was the only one that could deal with them. And I also kind of liked that she was dealing with the mysticism side of Gotham that traditionally no one else in Gotham would deal with.
Yeah.
And with Rebirth and everything, like, they're bringing back what we love about the characters. So what I'm kind of worried about is like, oh, it's Batwoman, but now she's more part of the Bat family. I'm like, are you still going to do Why We Love Batwoman? Because that's what you promised us with Rebirth.
Yeah.
Well.
I'm just interested to see her just go for it. I like her writing. I like Bennett's writing for women in general.
Yep.
You know, so like I'm just interested to see the story she wants to tell. Like, what do you want to tell us about Batwoman?
Yeah.
In this current time, like,
and
right
what's
now.
Your as opposed to an alternate Bombshell universe.
Exactly. Like,
because even then we like her.
Yeah.
I guess like I'm allowed to say this on International Coming Out Day because fuck it. I'm happy that 2 gay characters from DC have a comic simultaneously.
Yeah.
Never happened before. A whole 2.
A whole 2.
It's not bad.
Well, no, I mean, it's like Marguerite Bennett is one of those trusted names. Like you know, we talked about this before. Like there are comic book writers that we know they will write good stuff.
Yes.
You know, and when it comes out, she's one of them. When it comes out and it's like Marguerite Bennett is writing a story about a character, regardless who that character happens to be, it's like I will buy and read that. Not only that, like I feel like Batwoman's been fleshed out pretty well in Detective Comics.
We get her who she is now.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, like we, you know, especially with the whole Night of the Monster Men right now. I think Night of the Monster Men already ended. You know, with the death of Tim Drake, like she's been fleshed out. Like she's not a carbon copy of Batgirl. Like they didn't take Barbara Gordon and throw her on Batwoman and be like, here you go.
Yeah.
You know, it's like no, she's her own character. She has her own views of the world. You know, she's just as capable. You know, like that. I'm really excited to see what Marguerite Bennett does. That said, you know, because she's been fleshed out well in Detective Comics, and I'm pretty sure I have full faith that Marguerite Bennett will do this. I'm really hoping that we see a lot of her adventures isolated away from the rest of the Bat family. Yes. You know, the same way that you saw some of Batgirl stories, and the way you see like, you know, Nightwing in Bloodhaven. Well, I guess he's going to be going back to Bloodhaven. Welcome to Bloodhaven. I'm so excited for that story.
Yeah.
You know, like you know, the way we're seeing those things fleshed out, I really want to see it. The only issue that I have with her, because and I wouldn't say I'm super knowledgeable about that woman, but she never had her own city.
No,
like she always operated in Gotham.
No, she's always been in Gotham, but she always dealt with things in Gotham that no one else paid attention to.
Yeah.
So
and in a way, that's fine.
Gotham,
yeah, that was always fine with me. I didn't need her to have her own city.
It's weird because like part of me wants her to have it because it's like, yeah, you should have that responsibility. But then part of me is like, that's so unrealistic that every superhero would have their own city. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the fact that they created a city for Nightwing is kind of like, nah. But at the same time, it's like, oh, cool, but it worked out okay.
Well, if you think about it, in a way, she did have her own city because Batman had Gotham crime, and she had Gotham magic.
Yeah,
and she never crossed over.
That's true.
That's
true.
So in like sort of a theoretical sense, it was hers.
Yeah, that's true.
Whoa, hang on. Caleb Xavier.
Caleb Xavier?
Yeah, Caleb. There you go. Caleb Xavier. We did notice we wanted to finish.
Yeah, it's just that everyone was having a thought at the same time.
Yeah,
Yeah. So he subscribed 30 months in a row, Rob.
Yeah, everybody was
splooging on
everybody was talking, but now that we're not talking, now that we're back to our normal selves, I think it's time for a little splooge.
Oh, thanks.
Some sensual splooge. No, okay. So somebody in there said that that Nightwing needs a new writer. I disagree, dude. I think Tim Seeley's doing amazing. And here's okay. Like the entire plot of the bigger Court of Owls. What do they call that?
Night of the Owls?
No. The oh my God, I can't think of the word. Oh my God, you got the main Court of Owls, and then you have the International Court of Owls. The Patriarch, not the Patriarch. The what was it called? The something of Owls. It was the whole basis behind Better Than Batman. Parliament of Owls. There we go. The Parliament of Owls.
I was gonna say the Owl.
That was a genius. No, that was. I mean, I could easily see that being a Batman plot. But what better way than just like roll that over to Nightwing and have him take on the Parliament of Owls, especially with this whole tie-in before DC Rebirth being manipulated, so on and so forth. Like, that's a whole great idea. I thought it's been great writing.
Yeah.
Up to this point, I had no qualms with it. I've enjoyed it.
I've only read a little bit of it, but I like Tim Seeley from Revival, that Image book he did. So I'm just like, he's great.
He's a good writer.
He's a good writer.
Keep it up.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. But I guess the final topic we have is, which it's not the biggest thing, but the new Wolverine movie is simply going to be called Logan, and I like that. Like, I like the title Logan, and there's a couple reasons why. Because when it says Logan, it doesn't feel like oh my God, you got to go see this movie. Like it's Wolverine, like it's super high pace. It's just like this is Logan. You know, it's because I feel like with the other Wolverine movies, the titles gave this notion of like a crazy man running into a bar, just like screaming and rambling, or like Wolverine running into a bar and just like ripping stuff up. But this other movie, it seems like it feels more mature. It's like the title's just like Wolverine walks into a bar and he's just like, get me a beer.
Yeah.
And that's it.
For me, what the other titles make me think of yellow and blue spandex, but this one's just plaid and jeans.
Yes, I'm seeing.
Yeah.
But you know the ironic thing? The other titles, we got plaid and jeans.
I know.
And hopefully, in this one, we're going to get yellow and blue spandex.
Yeah, that'll be the one.
Yeah. I mean, that like, to me, that just, it's, I mean, obviously, like, they cast Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
And just looking at the image they shot of him, he looks like he's blind. And so it looks like Patrick Stewart will be playing the role of Hawkeye, which makes sense because Fox can't use Hawkeye.
Yeah.
But in truth, you could really interchange Hawkeye with anybody, to be quite frank. Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing about Hawkeye that stands out because the basis behind his character is smuggling the super soldier serum to what he believes to be, an underground attempt to overthrow the supervillains in New York. So, or I guess across North America. So you could replace Hawkeye with anybody. I would have liked to have seen Hawkeye, but I think that's really more of I'd rather have Wolverine in the MCU than under the control of Fox.
Yeah, I agree.
But at the end of the day, like I think it's going to be, solid. Like that's one of the things that I've really enjoyed most. I think Wolverine's a character that's better suited to like down and gritty stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that Fox's problem with Wolverine is they try to polish him up, make him look new and shiny.
Well, because he makes so much money, they're just like, we got to put him out in front center.
Well, like
exactly, but it's
see, my whole issue with Fox's Wolverine is that what makes Wolverine cool is the whole uncertainty behind him. Like, because how many origins of Wolverine have we had? How many backstories have we had? How many times has his memory's been altered? It's just, it's kind of like he's got a chip on his shoulder and you kind of think you know why, but
right.
Really. And so by making him star in something, it removes that element, and then that removes what makes him a star. Someone that's not a star can't star in their own movie, ironically. So I think he's better suited to a team movie, but then at the same time, their X-Men movies are shit, and they really need to get it together.
Yeah.
Well, that was kind of the issue that I had.
Or give it up. Like they don't know how to do it anymore.
Just give it up.
Like you see Wolverine in an X-Men movie, and it's like they're trying to pawn him off with like a Ferrari. Like he's the shiny new thing that you have to have. Yeah. Whereas like he's a 1971 Chavez Super Sport. He's a loud roaring muscle car.
Yeah.
Like that's what that's what they need to treat him as. And I feel like with this movie, that's what we'll get. We'll get the Wolverine who's, you know, rolled around in the mud, who's seen some stuff. You know, he's disheveled, he's got dirt on him. You know, he's got a really dark past. You know, I'm really hoping that that's what we get. And for me, it's actually a little disappointing that we're getting it now, because I feel like, you know, something like Old Man Logan, granted, you know, Fox was making movies with Wolverine long before Old Man Logan was written, but I feel like the kind of Wolverine we saw in Old Man Logan is a kind of Wolverine we should have been getting the entire time. You know, yes, he was kind of enigmatic, yes, he was kind of dark, but he wasn't mysterious or dark enough. You know, he was just kind of, well, he's new and he's shiny and, you know, he's the main attraction, you know. That was kind of my take on it. But, you know, again, hopefully this movie will be, but I think that this is going to be kind of the end of Wolverine for Fox.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you know, Hugh Jackman's leaving. Who else could they possibly, it's like making another Harry Potter movie without Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah.
Like, who else is going to play Wolverine besides Hugh Jackman? He's symbolic of that role now. So
I mean, they could start doing X-23 movies and fucking up that.
Sure. Stop giving them ideas.
Or Dokken. They'll just bring Dokken in.
Oh God, no.
Oh yeah, that'd be.
Nobody wants that.
They wouldn't even do it well either. They do it really bad.
I mean, like, if they do decide to go with like this whole Old Man Logan thing, I have a feeling they will just do shades of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it will not be some sort of apocalyptic future. It will not. You know what I mean? They already did that. They already played that card. I think they would be afraid to do that because I think they'd be afraid to confuse people because they're all so afraid of confusing everybody.
Yeah, they're so insistent on keeping that continuity that is so terrible and weird. It's so funny. Like like I have a feeling that we may see a Logan who, for other reasons, has not popped the claws. Yes, I think it's gonna be like a good 30 minutes before he does anything.
Yeah,
apparently they're
having get to it and it's terrible and like everything we're saying is just wrong and from the first minute it's just like the claws are out.
Yeah, literally, and it's the yellow spandex
it's just X-Men Origins Wolverine.
I was gonna say, and he's just screaming, "This one's for you, Morph," and we're like, "What is happening?"
I would applaud. I would laugh aloud and clap my hands if that happened. I mean, like, I remember when I was going to see X-Men Origins Wolverine, I was like, man, if this movie's anything like the X-Men Origins Magneto script that I read, it's going to be great because because Bryan Singer's producing it, it's going to be solid. And then we saw like that full montage of all like the actually no, it started out, it opened up with Origin, where it's like on his estate, and we see the little boy, and I'm like, wow, they're really going for it. And then the boy was a horrible actor, and he got the claws, and he went rah, and I went, oh, this looks real bad. And then I had no idea how bad it could possibly get.
Right. Yeah.
Do you remember? Yeah. In X-Men Origins Wolverine was this Sal and Rob. Do you remember in Batman versus Superman, my face through the entire movie was just me in X-Men Origins Wolverine 2.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't remember that because I was too busy making that same face myself. But,
no, I was during that movie. I was like, keep it up. Keep doing what you're doing, you losers.
They cast Donald Pierce, at least. Well, so if somebody
according to the chat,
anyway.
yes.
I guess they cast Donald Pierce to play the villain. I think that's actually a really smart decision, assuming that it turns out to be true. And the reason why is because the beauty of Old Man Logan is that it shuffled everything up. Like, you know, when you looked at North America, it was like whoever it is that could just hold control of their land was the one who ruled that section of North America.
Exactly.
You know, like you know, what was it? Magneto had a section, and I think he was killed by Kingpin. Yeah. And then Kingpin took it.
No, Kingpin had his own section, and then I think Spider Bitch stole it from him.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And Dr. Doom had a section, which is like weird because he had his own country. So why would he want a part of America? But whatever.
Yeah.
Well, it was like a subsidiary of Latveria.
Yeah, it's a territory.
Someone just had a really good suggestion on how they could end Logan. Marvel Cinematic Universe, Scarlet Witch walks out and says, "No more mutants." Then it cuts to black, and then Fox hands over the rights to.
Yeah,
Marvel. That would be beautiful. That would be.
And then the Inhumans roll
amazing.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No more.
But yeah, no, I mean, I think that's a smart move because it really emphasizes the fact that not every universe out there, not every future revolves around some grand poobah villain taking over everything. Maybe things just go to pot so bad that just some no-name rises up and is suddenly the main bad guy.
Exactly.
You know?
And if they establish
like him being, idea.
If he's like a classic, set like 80s gritty action movie villain, then you're just like, oh, I can't wait for Wolverine to cut your head off. It's gonna be awesome. And you're just gonna be waiting the whole movie, and he's gonna be kicking Wolverine while he's down. And you're like, why won't you just cut his head off? And finally, the last like 20 minutes, he'll cut his head off, and you're like, yes, this movie's awesome. I mean, like, just based on the poster alone of like Wolverine's old gnarled hand holding the hand of I think it's a little girl. With his claws out, I'm like, this is just awesome. I'm just down. I don't care. I like the idea also of if Fox were to just stop this being the last one. Like if Fox was just like, stop. If this was the last one, we're just like where Fox like, it's always been about Wolverine. Let's do a story about the alternate future where it's just always about Wolverine, and Wolverine is really cool, and we drank the Deadpool Kool-Aid, and he's black and white, and it's super cool, and it's R-rated, and it's just really cool, and it's like, yeah, I would like that. I'm down. I want that.
Now, okay, so you make a really good point. Could you imagine like a Sin City, like a Wolverine movie with a Sin City feel to it?
Oh yeah. I can imagine
that would be amazing. I would love that. That'd be one of the, if it was written right and it was done right, that'd be one of the best Wolverine movies ever made.
Oh yeah.
Well,
it's easy to do like a noir movie or even a Western, which is just what Old Man Logan is. But you know what I mean? Like just do a Western style story with Logan.
Yeah. Totally.
See, I would love to see them take the concept of Old Man Logan and turn it into that like a Sin City kind of movie. Like that would be super cool. Like I would love that. Yeah. Like that would be pretty awesome. That said, the assuming that because it looks like it's taking the Old Man Logan approach. If they decide to use the traditional Old Man Logan story without too much deviation, I guess the question becomes who are the people that he would go against, because they don't have the Incredible Hulk. So like who would the forces be, which would be kind of interesting.
My guess is it'll probably mirror Walking Dead, where there are like really cool looking bad guy characters who all kind of run their territories, but there's one kind of grand master who like is like almost like the self-appointed president of the United States, and Wolverine will be like, I don't care about you, I'm just trying to like keep my life together, and I think that'll be where we're going with it.
A lot of people are saying that the hand is Deadpool's hand.
Yeah, you didn't see that picture?
No.
Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, the little baby hand.
Yeah, he edited the thing, and he was like the hand that Wolverine's holding is actually my hand, and it was photoshopped out, so it was basically like Deadpool's little hand.
I like that Ryan Reynolds is just Deadpool.
Yeah, just is Deadpool.
Yeah. It's just the way it is. He tweeted that out, and then somebody posted on Reddit. They were like, "This is why the world needs Ryan Reynolds," or something like that. And
amazing.
Yeah.
That's why that took off. But yeah, no. But yeah, those are our topics.
No, we have one more. We have one more. Faust wanted to add one more on.
So this is a really important topic. It will change everyone's lives forever. Yuri on Ice just broke all records for the debut of sports anime.
Nice.
Beating out Kuroko no Basket.
And that's just like its first episode, right?
Yeah. Well, like debut of the first episode.
Right. Awesome. So it has like one episode down, and already people are like losing their minds.
This is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
Everyone needs to watch gay ice skating anime.
Sweet.
Oh God, hold on. We almost forgot to talk about Ninjak.
I know.
Oh.
All right.
Oh.
So who
wait, hang
all
on.
has seen
hang on.
the...
Were you done with that, Faust?
Yeah, I was done.
Okay, cool. So I want to make sure.
Yeah, Faust is done with that. So,
in which case I've got a lot more to say. It's really good. It's about a guy called Yuri, and
so yeah, Valiant Digital debuted with their Ninjak versus the Valiant Universe trailer.
Yeah,
it's the first time you're ever going to see a live action version of the Valiant Universe.
Yep.
We saw a lot of cool cameos in those shots. We saw Ninjak, we saw Armstrong, we saw EXO, we saw Roku. We saw a lot of really neat stuff. Bloodshot, obviously. And in fact, if you went to the Valiant panel, which hopefully you did not because you went to our panel instead, you might have seen an actual scene from the Bat in the Sun production, which includes Ninjak, like a full fight scene between Ninjak and Bloodshot, which is, of course, Michael Rowe versus Jason David Frank. And as I understand it, because I didn't get to see it, it was brutal as hell and super cool and badass. So
yeah,
I mean, I'm happy that I can now say I cosplayed Ninjak before he was cool.
Yeah, before he was. Yeah, before they existed. Yeah.
And he got the photos to prove it.
That's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, you know, it's. I'm actually kind of hyped about that because, oh my God, guys out there in Twitch land, I had the opportunity to interview the beautiful Chantel Berry. She's absolutely gorgeous. She was really a really nice person. But you know, she's playing Roku, which I think is actually a pretty cool circumstance because Roku was like this super capable chick that could like alter her own body's cellular structure, you know, and her hair. She kind of had like the Medusa effect with her hair.
Yeah.
But instead of just ensnaring people, she would like cut them into pieces.
Yeah.
But one of the cool things about Ninjak, I think, is the idea that it's not like a traditional superhero in the sense that it's more of like James Bond meets Kung Fu. And that I always thought came off pretty interesting. But no, the series looks like it's going to be pretty solid. I mean, it's a digital web series.
Yeah.
So it was, it'll allow them more freedom, I think, than, you know, simply throwing something out in a movie in terms of character development, you know, different things like that. But the fact remains that I'm pretty excited to see it. Like, I think it's going to be pretty awesome.
Agreed.
Yeah, and
I mean,
okay.
I do think that because I do actually read Ninjak, so I feel like for Ninjak, a digital web series works best because it will just give them a lot more freedom than like a Netflix show or a movie. Like, you know, because with those kind of things, you've got producers to answer to, brands that you need to upkeep. Whereas for a digital web series, it's just kind of like, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You're free. Fair use is a thing in this case.
It's true. They can make decisions that maybe aren't advertiser friendly, but are super awesome and cool. It's how we got that really badass, really short like Mortal Kombat thing that turned into a series that nobody liked, but like the thing we got first, that was really awesome.
Yeah.
The Nolanification of Mortal Kombat.
I'm just excited because of the fact that it's Bat in the Sun, we know that the action sequences
are going to be really put together.
Yeah, they're going to be great. I mean, they took the guy, Kevin Porter, who usually plays Batman, and he's playing Armstrong.
Yeah.
Like, they put him into that role.
I can't wait to see him actually be like funny and cool.
Because that guy is huge.
Yeah, 6'7".
Oh my God, dude, he's tall as hell.
Like, I'm like, oh, I'm really tiny right now.
Yeah. Thanks for reminding me.
Oh, here was the other cool thing too. So when we were doing our interview, so it was myself and it was Sal, Kevin, and Houston, I think.
Yeah.
And when we went down there, we walked into the room, and one of the guys with Valiant was already talking to people. And Jason David Frank turns around. He's like, "Hi, I'm Jason David Frank." I'm like, "Yeah, man, I know exactly who you are." But I thought it would have been creepy as hell.
You're like, "Yeah, tell me,
man,
I know who you are."
Yeah, like I watched you growing up as a child. Like I watched you as a child. Like I felt like that would have been weird. And so I was like, "Yeah, man, huge fan," and just left it there.
Yeah,
that's really, really funny.
Yeah.
Oh man.
We had breakfast with
Jason
him as well.
David Frank, if you ever happen to see this podcast, like I know who you are, but I felt like it would have been weird to just be like, "Yeah, you're the Green Ranger." Like after 25 years,
you're still the Green Ranger.
You're still the Green Ranger.
It seems like all those guys who were working on it had a blast doing it. Like I know you guys on that weekly pull episode where the audio was a little wonky. Got a chance to talk with Kevin Porter and Sierra, who's playing Livewire, and like they're just so into it.
Yeah.
Like she really did her research on the character, and she was like, "This character's gonna come across strong," and like went out of her way to make sure that you saw that strength. I was like, "That's just cool."
Yeah, it's very
like
cool.
You weren't just handed a script and you didn't put the costume on. And you're like, "Yeah, who cares?" You're like, "No, I got to find out about it."
Yeah, this is a neat character, and not a lot of people know them. So it's like, here you go.
So I thought that was really cool.
Agreed. So there you go. Yep. I mean, like, also Superman was on Supergirl. That seemed cool. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching this episode of Liverpool, everybody. We will see you guys.
The Flash comes on in like half an hour, I think.
Yeah, so like we don't want to keep people from watching that.
We got to get off because we got another round of Overwatch in before that.
Yeah, that's right. So stay tuned here, actually over on ComicPOP on YouTube to catch the weekly poll panel from New York Comic Con. It is going up in the next little while. I'll release that now, and so you can check that out and watch. I guess our most successful panel ever. It's really fun. We
320 people.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
That was nuts.
Intense.
It was crazy when they opened the door.
Yeah,
and everyone
Because there were like 8 or 9 people in the audience who were like, "Yep, here it comes."
So like that seems about right. And then like this guy who was in the panel room leans over to Benny. He's like, "Hey, do you want me to open the doors?"
And we're like, "Why?"
And he's like, "Well, because there's a line. You can't see the line because we have them around the panel area, and like they're lined up against this wall." And he was like, "Yeah, all right, open the doors." And like just this parade of people came in, and we were like,
"Oh, hello."
Yeah, it was a line of 320 people around the corner to see us, to hang out and listen to us talk. We love you guys for that.
We are so grateful for that. Like that was.
I just need to comment on something in the chat. Did you meet Yaya Hantif?
I did. Not only did I meet her, I interviewed her, and then she hugged me.
I really I needed to be there.
She was there.
I need to redeem myself to her.
The
only time I met her, I was like in a cosplay competition. My costume fell off, and she saw my nipples. I need to redeem myself.
No, she was there, and like they were like doing interviews, and I was like, I want an interview with her. Like I love her. I'm just always so floored by like her skills. Like that woman has sewing skills. I have no sewing skills. So the things that she does, I'm like, you're magic, right? Like you sold your soul to some deity, and it gave you fucking like magic sewing powers, and like, so like we got the interview, and like it's like she's just so cool to talk to. I had no idea she was a pen and ink artist prior. Like she's just like, I'm like, oh, you're just really talented in every way, and you're a go-getter, and I'm just gonna rip myself in half now and go back to whatever dimension spawned me. I guess. Thanks. Yeah. So like just such a nice person. Just yeah. And then she was like at the end of the interview, like after the cameras were off, she's like, that was so great. I'm gonna hug you. I'm like, okay.
And Ben was like, me too, though, right?
I'm like, get out of here, Ben. Get out of here, Ben.
So at WonderCon people, like people that organize WonderCon, because I know you obviously watch our podcast because it's the best podcast in the world.
That's right.
Have Yaya Han go to WonderCon and also invite me. Just hook this up.
Rob, you're disappearing.
You're fading into blackness.
Stop looking at dark things on your monitor.
Yeah, that's exactly what the problem is. By the way, if you don't know and you're interested in cosplay, she is working with Cosplay Fabrics, and like she has a whole line of fabrics that she work with them.
Yeah.
She's also already got a line at Joanne's Fabrics. We don't have Joanne's in the UK.
I know, but we do, and that's so cool because like if you are interested in it at all, it's such like a relief to go into a store like that and be like, oh, look, fabrics I can actually use for costumes that aren't like Halloween themed with spiders on them.
Yeah. Just while we're on this topic, I guess the best fabric from her, she has a 4-way stretch leather that's actually stupid cheap for what it is. If you want to get into cosplay and you want to cosplay superheroes, I recommend that.
That's really cool.
It's just universal.
Whoa, hang on. They're also doing, like, cosplay patterns, and I was going to buy one there, but they had it sold out, and it broke my heart, so now I have to go track it down. They've got a Doctor Strange cloak one.
Oh.
Yeah, those are really common. I have, like, 3 of the Doctor Strange ones.
Wow.
I pattern all my own stuff out. I just give pre-made patterns away to all of my friends if they ask me for help, because I don't like helping people with patterning.
So yeah, that's something I might try to do for myself. Maybe I can do that. Maybe I can handle that level.
Yeah.
Maybe let's see if I can get a hold of that pattern. But yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I got to bounce out of here, guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, end the show, man.
I got a jet.
Play us out.
Yeah. Please.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, thanks for coming out for this episode, guys. This Thursday, we hopefully will have a special guest. I won't say who because things may change, and so I don't want to get your all's hopes up. But hopefully, we'll have a special guest on Thursday, a returning special guest anyway. And yeah, of course, the poll being the podcast where everybody talks about the comics that came out for this week. So we'll of course be there will of course be some discussion about Clone Conspiracy, issue number 1.
No doubt.
But yeah, so what does everybody have going on
Great
for the
question.
next few days?
Faust, what's up, man?
So tomorrow I'm talking about Jessica Jones. Every other day at the moment I'm playing the Telltale Batman game.
Nice.
My audio will be fixed after episode 1. I pre-recorded episode 1 and the actual game's a little bit quiet. But, you're there for my commentary, not for the game, so get over it. And other than that... and on Friday, I'm finally going to upload my History of Blue Beetle.
Ooh.
Oh.
So, you all need to go and watch that because Blue Beetle is 5 ever.
Nice. Well, over here on Comic Pop, we got the Ayahan interview. We have the weekly poll panel from New York Comic Con. The Twitch stage, that one is already up. And in the next couple of hours, we will have released the New York Comic Con official panel, and that'll be out. Tomorrow, we have a live Elseworlds exchange, and of course, an episode of Back Issues, which I need to cut tonight, tomorrow. And that is actually filmed on location at New York Comic Con with a very special guest from the weekly poll. So
yeah, we wish we could have gotten
the entire weekly poll, but we weren't given permission to film at New York Comic Con, so we took permission to film at New York Comic Con.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, at that point, Rob and Benny were already touring the city, and so the only member of the weekly poll who was available was also the one on the episode. So there you go.
It was me. I was
Faust.
there in disguise.
So it'll be fun.
They teleported him in.
I can't. I love this episode. It's super fun. It's a crossover book from 2 different companies, neither of which we've ever done on Back Issues before. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for watching, gang.
Wait, what about Rob? What do you got?
Yeah, Rob, what's going on, man?
Oh, I'm playing catch up. So the rest of this week and probably the first half of next week is all just like DC Rebirth and all different Marvel. So Tony Stark's New Origin. No, I'm sorry. Spider-Man Dead No More comes out tomorrow.
Oh.
And then The Death of Tim Drake tomorrow. And then after that, it's Stark's New Origin. Oh my God, The Flash Godspeed comes out.
Yes.
On Thursday because it finishes tomorrow. Thank God. And then after that, it's I think Avengers, Justice League Rebirth, and then a couple more.
Oh,
so
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another thing I forgot to talk about. I'm also doing the first story arc from the Scarlet Witch comic because that was my favorite thing from All Different Marvel.
Nice. Sweet, man.
All right, guys. Well, I guess we can wrap this episode up. Thanks for coming out, everybody. We appreciate it.
Give us a piece.
Bye.
Yep. We'll catch you guys later. Peace.